Hey Leo, welcome to Key Wisdom. My name is Ruth, and this, my darlings, is your January 2022 first one of the year tarot reading. We're going to do as we always do. There's no, I finished shuffling and look what was on the bottom. We're going to do how we always do, okay? So it's going to be, we're going to look at Sun, Moon, Star. So we're going to look at the external experiences that you'll be encountering in the month of January. We'll look at what's going on beneath the surface, what's driving those energies, and then we'll look at some outcomes for you. Now, as I said in my last video, you know, the weather is today because of how the weather was yesterday. And the weather tomorrow will be because of how the weather is today. And so we're not reading the future when we read the tarot, even if that's what people say. We're actually looking at the nature of now, the nature of your experiences. And that gives us an indication of the types of experiences that you can expect to encounter, the type of things that you're facing and the reasons why you're facing them, what they're teaching you, what wisdom they're trying to manifest for you, simply to bring about an understanding of who you are, of what you need, and of how this is all connected. Okay. This wants to be the first for you. We have the Seven of Cups, and at the base of the reading, you have the High Priestess, Leo. The High Priestess. So this is really, this is the time of the High Priestess. It's winter now, so it's the time of Persephone when she's underground with Hades, when she's in Hades with her, the Lord of the Underworld, her father. So this is the time, that's what this represents, the pomegranate and, you know, the underworld, which is about your quote-unquote subconscious. There's no such thing as subconscious, but it's about your quote-unquote subconscious, about your instinct or about your intuition, about your inner self or about your higher self, the wisest part of you, the part of you that's always listening and recording and feeling and experiencing, and yet that is mute, that doesn't have a voice. So this is about listening and to what your to what you feel, to what you need, to what is tempting you where and for why. You should listen to your instincts and intuition, or this is what it's indicative of. So it's suggesting that, and obviously with this energy here of the Seven of Cups, we have this energy of, this is an energy of confusion, but it's an energy of also engaging with that confusion. It's an energy of trying to, because it's number 7, so we're trying to understand why we feel a certain way. Why do I feel this way? Why do I need this? Why do I want this? Why do I desire this? Why do I do this? Why do I not do this? This is what this is. You know, number 7s are all wise, cards of wisdom, cards of mystery, trying to uncover the mystery, trying to understand why we feel a certain way, etc., etc. So this is something that you and seemingly Aries have been going through, and the guide seems to be listen to what's going on within, and we're kind of emphasized even further with the Hermit energy. So these are the things that you're encountering. So we've got the Hermit energy, we've got another 7 of Pentacles, we've got the Page of Swords, and we've got the Queen of Wands. So we're following the Wands energy here. We're following the fire, we're following the snake, we're following the kind of the urges and the kind of desires and the questions, and we're trying to kind of understand what it is we're trying to manifest. It seems to be about, for you, manifesting something. Manifesting is literally just to bring something in the ether, or in the kind of an essence of something to make it solid in this world. So this idea that you've had, or this kind of desire that you've, or this ambition that you've had somewhere on a level, it's about really thinking about, trying to understand, deciding how you can make this dream, this idea, this desire, this ambition into reality. So this month is about that journey of discovery for you. It's about the questions, it's about the reflection, it's about the investigations, it's about the consideration of this is what you are going to be encountering in the month of January 2020. I've got the Hermit energy here, which is, as it says on the tin, there's a word, I always say there's a word missing, which would be Buddha, the Hermit Buddha. The Hermit Buddha is one who, like Gautama Buddha, the Buddha who sat under the Bodhi tree. He was a Hermit Buddha. The Lotus, Padmasambhava, the founder of the creator, I suppose, of Tibetan Buddhism, he was a Hermit Buddha. So these are people that there's a canon of work, and there's literature, and there's practices that we can follow that's out there, but there's also me listening to myself. There's me following my own natural predisposition in order to gain enlightenment, in order to see what's within, in order to discover for myself the wisdom. And they were Buddha Gautama's last words, actually. Find your own way, make your own path, decide for yourself. And this is what this energy is about. It's about the going in search of answers, going in search of information, going in search of understanding, I should say, going in search of understanding with the Hermit energy, and trusting and following your own guiding light to lead you through this fog of confusion. That's what you're being asked and encouraged to do. And it's interesting because we have the Hermit's very very mindful, and and we have this very meditative energy here as well, with the number sevens again, and with the Seven of Pentacles. When we talk of being meditative, it's about being, to meditate means to reflect, to consider, to think over. So this is you looking at what is already in your life, what is already manifest, what you have already created in your life, what is already there. And you are looking at what is already in your life and what is already around you, and the situation that you've created for yourself. And you are trying to understand what about this or that you want to keep, what about this or that you want to shift, you want to change, what direction you now want to move in. This is what the month seems to be about for you. We don't make any final decisions necessarily, but it's about looking at what is there, and about you reflecting on what is there, and you feeling how you respond and acknowledging how you respond emotionally and mentally when you look at what is there, and those reactions being the guiding light for you to cut through some of this fog and some of this confusion. Okay, like we've got the Page of Swords. That's what the Page of Swords does. Okay, the Page of Swords, yes, inquisitive is not really the right word, because it's not really about other people. It's not really about, talk about messages and messengers with the Page of Swords, but it's really about your inner messages, in a sense, your kind of ability to be aware of this, your intuition, or to feel those reactions to when you consider how you feel about X situation or Y situation, and then that reaction to how you feel being the guide to how you move forward, helping you to sort of give the High Priestess a voice. That's what the Page of Swords tries to do and attempts to do, and is helping you to do. You're giving voice to your intuitions. You're giving voice to the things that you're still not certain, and that's fine, but you're at least listening and responding to yourself, to your reactions to your experiences, to your reactions to considering or okay, what would I do if I was to leave my job? What would I do if I was to move to this country? What would I do if, and again, we're not necessarily making the decisions, but it's like you're asking those questions and you're listening to your intuition, and the Page of Swords is making it make sense what your intuition is telling you, because your intuition talks gibberish half the time. Anyway, well, we would interpret it as gibberish, but it makes perfect sense if you know how to hear it. Okay, anyway, Queen of Wands. So this is literally you following that intuition. It's following the snake. There's a story in West African spirituality, Ifa. There's a story, and the story is so there's a master. The masters are called Babaloa, and there's a student. And the student is asking the master, where should I can't plant this bush. Let's say it's plant this bush. Where shall I find this source of wisdom? And there's a huge snake just, going past, and the the master says to the student, follow the snake, and then you will know. So he follows the snake and follows the snake and follows the snake for days and days and days, and then eventually the snake rests and stops, and he then has this moment of flash of inspiration and absolutely has a clear answer to his question. And the snake didn't say anything, he just followed the snake. And maybe just it's for you to take this story. We don't tell you the meaning of these stories. It's for you as students to the Babaloa will tell you to understand the meaning of these stories. But my interpretation of the meaning of that story is that it's for us to follow the snake. These are the snakes that we see, the staffs in the hand. There's our connection to beneath the ground, to what's beneath the surface. And we have to get away to listen to what's beneath the surface and follow what's beneath the surface, because just by following it for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days, even though we don't know where it's going to lead us, eventually after those 3 or 4 days we'll have the answers. And this is what it's telling you. So you might not have the definitive answer by the end of January, but what you will have is a way of listening to yourself in order to understand these answers, and that is by looking at what's there, reflecting at what's there, and then observing how you respond to that, and that being the guide for you to move forward, that being the thing that helps you to be the next step. And you're mastering that, actually. It's going to be something that you can hopefully do more confidently throughout as the month continues. This is what's driving that behavior. This is what's driving these actions, these experiences. And remember, this card fell out, didn't it, when we were shuffling. This is what's beneath the surface for you. So we've got the Moon card, we've got the 8 of Swords, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Devil energy. So you're definitely trying to change something in your life. You're definitely trying to change an actual physical, real, manifest situation in your life. And for some of you, there's real confusion, because you want to change something, but you don't know what you want to change, but you just feel this kind of urge, this kind of itch to move. And some of you do know what it is you want to change, but you're in a space of not really knowing how you're going to change it and how you're going to approach making those changes or doing this different thing. That's what I'm getting. That's what these energies are telling me. Let me have a drink of water. So the Moon card, if you realize the moon is an inanimate satellite that just flies around, orbits the earth, but the moon is absolutely dark. The moon is darkness. The moon is divine feminine. The moon doesn't speak. The moon simply reflects. The only reason we can see the moon is because of the sun, the divine masculine, i.e. our actions. That's what gives rise to our muteness. That's what manifests our wisdom. What manifests our inert, instinctual, quiet, subtle wisdom of our higher self, if you want to call it that. What illuminates that wisdom is what we do, is our divine masculine, is our sun, is our attention, is our focus, is our awareness. If we pay attention, we will hear and see and understand what direction we want to go in, what actions we want to take. This is what it's so this is really like an exercise in at the beginning of the year for you guys, an exercise in awareness, in listening to what, paying attention to yourself, paying attention to your confusion, paying attention to your stress, paying attention to your anxiety, paying attention to your worry, paying attention to that, to your pain. Instead of because what you used to do, what we all do is we don't notice that it is painful to ignore who we are. We don't notice that it is painful to ignore ourselves. But again, if we don't give light to the moon, then the moon will never rise. We'll never see it. So we have to pay attention. We have to take off the blindfold, i.e. our consciousness. This is sword energy about our consciousness. We have to take off our blindfold and recognize that we're stuck in thinking in a certain way, and that thinking is actually blinding us from all this wisdom that actually exists within us, which is the subtle quiet of your higher self, your illusory body, your Buddha self, your attachment free natural self. We have to stop avoiding who we are. Eight of Swords is telling us that, and we have to pay attention to it. The moon is telling us that. You do that, but you're looking at things that are manifest. For some of you, it's making a decision. Again, I don't know what it is, individuals, you know your life, but you're in a situation doing something physical. So, you know, it could be a relationship, a job, whatever, I don't know, friendship, I don't know, but there's something that you're actually physically doing that you are you've got an itch about, and you're trying to remove that itch, and you don't understand. In a sense, you're kind of looking at why you're still doing this thing, whatever this thing is for you, why you're still engaging in this thing, this job, this relationship, whatever it is. These are the questions and that you're asking, and you're. It seems that there's a very real attachment to something. That's what the devil tells us. The devil is about attachments, and attachments are things that attachment could be a belief, could be like one belief, for example, is that we are all the same, or we are all different, for example. I don't know which of those is true. Well, I know which of those is true, but you decide. But but the point is, it's just created like everything else, like day and night and time and countries, and they're just made up stuff. It's just made up stuff, right? It's just stuff that's made up, and we believe it. We believe this form. We believe that this is white and that is yellow or whatever, right? It's just belief. It's not real. And that's what attachments are. But those attachments become real, right? Because we now call that yellow, or we now call that black, and it's not black. It's just a trick of the eye. It's just our mind moving. There's nothing different between that and that. But anyway, these attachments actually do affect what we do. So our beliefs, our experiences in the past, our traumas from the past, etc., make us believe X, Y, Z. This is my box. This is where I stay. This is where I live. I can't go beyond that. I can't go outside of that. That's a belief. It's not true. And in the month of January, you're literally removing that lid, and you're looking in that box, and you're having a good root around, and you're being reflective, of your responses, how you're responding. How do you feel when they bring up your ex's name? How do you feel when they bring up when your mum says she's dating someone new? Like, how do you feel about it? And you're actually listening to that. And it's that listening that's actually illuminating the wisdom for you, and actually showing you what you actually now want to do. If you think about leaving this job or leaving this person or whatever it is for you. I know I'm speaking fast, but whatever. Okay, so let's look at your outcomes. We've got justice, we've got balance, okay, which is really, really good. We've got balance, we've got Knight of Cups. They're all good. Good's a made up word, doesn't mean anything. We've got justice, we've got Knight of Cups, we've got the Four of Swords, and we've got the Queen of Cups. Okay, good. So good's a made up concept, doesn't mean anything. I should say affirmative. Anyway, I labour those points simply because to just kind of show you how many things are attachments, how many things are created, and justice is one of those things. It's major arcana. Justice isn't actually created, is it? Justice actually, well, whatever. Natural is natural. But anyway, this is what you get with justice. You get this balance, and what this balance is a kind of a consideration of all sides of self, a consideration of the manifest, active sun part of self, and also the mute, subtle, wise part of yourself. The justice comes through consideration of all aspects of self, of recognition of everything that makes up your reality, with engagement and awareness of everything that makes up your reality, and also recognizing, because of that, what we keep and what we can release. And by release, all we're releasing our ideas, our perspective, our old way of thinking of something. For some of you, it could be related to love. For some of you, it doesn't have to be, doesn't matter. These are all you. Everything you see here is you depicted. And we've got the Knight of Cups here. So Cups energy again, about our emotions and about moving actively on our emotions. We're masculine, divine masculine. So it's the things that we do, our physical actions, what we say and what we think, and all those things. It says that are your outcomes. It suggests that your outcomes are going to be, so the things that you say going forward, the things that you think going forward, the things that you do going forward physically are going to be considerate of how you feel within. That's going to be the thing that moves you. What else should move you? You decide. But I personally, as a kind of side note, if you were my bestie, I would say, do you know what? That's a good thing to move you, how you feel. That's a great thing to move you. Regardless of what the world tells you, the society tells you, whatever tells you, I think going with how you feel is a good way to go, a good way to live your life, especially when you've spent the time and energy walking up the mountains, going through the clouds, going through the fog, cutting through the sun, considering stuff. When you've gone through all that, then I would say definitely going with how you feel is a really good way to go. And this is what we see with here. We see this kind of strength and this security, and this kind of, with number 4 it's about structure. And it's like this is really you now, a new way of thinking. This is almost like using affirmations. This is one of the things I used to do this years ago when I first started, practicing mindfulness and meditation. What I used to do was, if I used to say anything bad to myself in my head, so like, I don't know, you're washing up and you drop something, you idiot, you call yourself an idiot. This is you saying in your head, oh my God, silly girl, or whatever in your head, and then saying, no, I'm not an idiot. That's just an accident. Or I just need to be. It's correcting those old ways of thinking, like literally actively in your mind as you do them, or as you're about to say them, or you're driving and you've got a bit of road rage and you say, oh, bloody idiot, why is he, whatever, I don't know. I don't get road rage really, but anyway, sometimes I do. But, you get road rage, oh, bloody idiot, whatever. This is you saying that and then going, no, noticing that you're saying it, going, oh, no, not an idiot, that's just life, that's just what's happened. It's like you creating new ways of thinking, actively creating new ways of thinking, listening to yourself, responding to yourself, recognizing that the old way of talking to yourself, saying, oh, I'm silly, I'm stupid, I'm whatever, the old way of thinking about yourself, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other, recognizing, actually seeing the damage and the harm, the pain, the physical pain that creates and causes you. You recognize that in this month of January. It's been a process that's been ongoing. You recognize that in this month of January, and you actually start putting down new roots, new foundations in your mind. You're listening to yourself. They take account of how you feel, because it matters, because it's not just about what we see in the world. Again, you are more than body. It's also about how we feel. That's really, really important in life. Obviously, that's like a really obvious thing to say. But it's like you actually recognize what you say to yourself, what you do, how you live your life, what you tell yourself. You really start to understand in the month of January, by the end of the month of January, you really start to understand that you can actually make a difference to that by what you say to yourself, by how you treat yourself. You're realizing and recognizing that you can actually make a huge difference to how you actually act and what you actually do and what you're actually able to manifest and create for yourself in your life. So my lovely Leos, I hope you like that reading. It's very, very nice. I really like it. That doesn't mean anything, but I do. I hope you enjoy that reading. Keep an eye out for it. Give this video a thumbs up, etc. Keep an eye out for my brand new brand, which is launching. Soft launch in January, hard launch in March. Keep an eye out for like new little snippets. It's all mindfulness, it's all modern tantra, and I really can't wait for you to see it. So keep an eye out for it. Have a wonderful festive season, my lovely Leos. Have a wonderful start to 2022, and I'll see you all again next month with your brand new readings. Take care, my darlings. Bye.